behalf of the management and staff of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and the wider capital market stakeholders, I welcome the board and management of Oando PLC to this Facts Behind the Figures presentation. We would like to commend you for coming forward to provide the market with more information about the exciting developments within Oando in recent months. We also congratulate your board, management and staff for working diligently over the years towards building what has grown to become an African success story. Since Ocean and Oil's acquisition of controlling interest in Unipetrol's PLC in 2000 and the subsequent merger with Agip Nigeria PLC in 2003, Oando has steadily grown to become one of Africa's largest integrated energy solutions providers, with the addition of gas and power distribution, international supply, trading, and energy services to its petroleum marketing business. In Nigeria, Oando is famed to sell and distribute 1 in every 5 liters of petroleum via over 500 retail outlets, and has continued to expand its operations across West Africa to the Republic of Benin, Togo, and Ghana. We would invite the Group CEO of Oando to make the facts behind the figure presentation.
Let me just start by saying good afternoon and thanks for giving me an opportunity to tell you about what Oando PLC is doing with your investment today and how we plan to extract value. Somebody had mentioned earlier on that it's quite a complex operation, and indeed it is, and that's simply because from its origins as a simple downstream business, it has become a very large gas distributor, natural gas distributor, a very large oil service provider, and also about to become by far the largest indigenous exploration and production company in the country, and without a doubt, even on the continent, it will be the largest non-governmental upstream company at the conclusion of our acquisition of Phillips. Now, in terms of the numbers, I think this is just a brief idea. Basically, our last published financials was September, where we're soon to publish the final year, and we had a revenue of 407 billion naira, EBITDA, earnings before interest and tax of 32 billion, and EBITDA margin of 6.6%, and a net income margin of 1.9%. The net income margin is quite low, and that's as a result of the fact that the bulk of our revenues comes from the downstream, and where margins are very, very tight, and you would see that typically in the downstream margin world, you will make anything between 1.5%, typically from your earnings. Whereas what we're doing as a business is pushing towards the diversification of that business to be able to earn a lot more money from our medium, from the midstream, which is gas, where we have a monopoly situation in our gas pipeline. Wherever we lay it, you own the gas pipeline. For 20 years, you have the benefit of the operation. Plus, you have a steady consumer base, and it's a perfect and elastic demand curve. And then finally, the upstream. I will start really from the downstream, because that's what everybody knows, everybody's comfortable with. We have a fully funded business plan on the downstream. We're not doing any real key investments, other than to extract cash out of the business and to support the dividend payment. In the downstream today, we're the largest fuels distributor, the largest importer of gasoline in the country. The biggest challenge we have is delays in payment of the subsidy from the government. That often puts a working capital pressure on us and doesn't allow us to do as much as we would like to do in terms of being able to import fuel. So our system actually underperforms because we don't have enough fuel to put through it. Be that as it may be, as of September, for example, we're owed in excess of 40 billion. We've been owed that money by the government for 9 months. The government has since paid, and I think as of today, we're only owed about 8 billion. So we've had over 40 billion naira paid to us in the last 3 months. So please thank God we are receiving money now. And the government has committed to ensure that on a go-forward basis this year, they will pay us within the 90-day time frame they're supposed to pay for the cargoes we bring in. As you're aware, because petrol is subsidized in the country, for every litre of petrol that comes to the country, the government actually owes us 43 kobo to be paid, and that money takes sometimes as much as 9 months, as we experienced last year, before you get paid that money. We will focus a lot on the expansion of LPG. Gas needs to be provided into the country. We spend over $6 billion a year on kerosene subsidies, whereas we actually export we export about, I think, 2.7 million tons of LPG out of Nigeria. And we are one of the lowest consuming countries in Africa of LPG. LPG being butane, the gas canister we should use. So we're at the forefront of driving that, working with the government towards saying, let's try and make gas the de facto fuel that people should be using, instead of spending money importing kerosene into the country, when we actually have gas that we produce, but we actually export the gas and it's sold to develop other economies. So that's a big area for us. We have a proactive management team that has spent quite a lot of time in building businesses from scratch. We built a gas business from scratch in Nigeria. We built a rig business from scratch in Nigeria. We've done extensive investments in the downstream as well too. Because, as I mentioned, there will be operational synergies, and it basically puts Oando PLC on the market as a global player in the production. At 50,000 barrels a day of production, or at 500 million barrels onshore plus another 200 million barrels offshore, we will become, without a doubt, we will become a top 100 global player in the exploration and production business. That really is the significance of this transaction. So it is quite significant, and I really look forward to you getting you participating in the business.